Good morning, everyone. Mr. Donelly here. Today we are going to talk about one of the most confusing math concepts for our students to learn, and it's something that when we were children we learned a little different. So I'm hoping that today's quick example can help some of our parents at home when they're working with their students on regrouping versus borrowing versus carrying the number over. So what we're going to look at today is we're going to look at the number 25 and we're going to subtract 8 from the 25. In order to do that at home, limited materials, I've decided to use change, which relates really well when we think about our place value. Our dimes represent our tens place, and our pennies represent the ones place. So what I'm going to show you, and hopefully the students at home, is that when we regroup, we're going to take those dimes from the tens place, and we're just simply going to represent them differently to allow us to complete some of that subtraction. So I'm going to show you the example and I'm going to explain it as best I can. Okay, so here's our math problem represented using the manipulatives I used from home. And all this is using dimes and pennies to represent to the tens place and the ones place. So when we look at our math problem today, 25 minus 8, what we typically have students do is we think about the value of that number. How do we represent 25? The way to represent 25 is to represent it with 2 tens and 5 ones. This works really well for our little guys as they can visualize and think about that concept and think about the value of that number. However, when we move to a subtraction problem where we're looking to take away 8, students will quickly realize with their manipulatives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that they cannot take away 8. This will result in a lot of our students saying that the answer is 20, or they move the 8 and the 5 and they subtract it incorrectly. So what I've represented on our next page here is I've represented what is called regrouping. So instead of looking at it as 2 dimes and 5 pennies, I have traded in one of the dimes, and that allowed me to get 10 pennies out of that dime. So what I would then ask students is, did our number change at all? Do we still have 25? So let's go ahead and count that together. 10, so grab 10 and let's count on 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so we still have 25, guys, but it's represented a little bit differently. But now, for our students that really need to visualize and identify the value of that number and think about it and play with the number, when I look at it and I go to subtract 25 minus 8, when I write it vertically, or as before, when I wrote it horizontally, now we can look at, may I take 8 from 25? So let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So those 8 are now gone. When I ask students what is our final answer, what we want them to do is grab that 10, that dime, so say 10, and count on 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that would mean that our answer to 25 minus 8 is 17. Now for those parents at home that look at this and they're very confused or it just looks different, I want to show you that instead of calling it borrowing, what we're going to say is trade in one of those tens. So now we have one group of 10 left. When we trade in a group of 10, it gives us 10 ones. That's why our new number here in the ones column was 15. If you look back at that video, we had 15 in the ones column. When we do our 15 take away 8, it results in 7. And our one group of 10 minus nothing there is going to leave us with another group of 10. A group of 10 and 7 ones is a final answer of 17. So I hope that this little example, although thrown together and not in ideal conditions, will help everyone understand how to regroup as opposed to borrow. All right, thank you everybody. I hope you enjoy Mr. Cox's channel.